at World Economic Forum kitu wanasema like they push wanaanzanga tu na ideology simple. Wanasemanga it's economical to consume insects compared to beef. Unaget? And then they tell you that insects ziko na more nutritions compared to the beef.
Waneka scientist
Yeah,
hapo pia
waneka scientist. So the moment umeka scientist hapo and you have funded that scientist, who scientist atadrive agenda? Haya, come to Bill Gates. Bill Gates yeye mwenyewe anaanza kusema history ya factory processed meat. Hii ya lab grown meat. You have seen them.
Yeah.
So ukiangalia and the fact that there's this documentary nimewatch inaitwa The Grab. Utajam zaidi, just go and watch it. Inaitwa The Grab 2024. It's a documentary. The Grab talks about how powerful companies are buying reserves abroad. And when I mean abroad in Africa, like water supplies, food supplies, everything, because supplies zao zinaisha. For example, in Arab countries, water supply yao kila mtu anajua inaisha. So what are they doing? They're buying supplies abroad. So juzi vile sijui walinunua how many acres of land hapa Kenya in the name of carbon credits. It's almost the Grab. Unaget? Yeah. So I think towards the end, what akina George Soros and what akina Klaus Schwab want, because wao ndo wako mostly involved na hiyo World Economic Forum, is the controlling of human beings. Because right now wanasema ati tunataka kumove kutoka stake owned to stake I forgot the wordings, but what they mean is you see how the Wall Street works. Ukiinvest, kila mtu anaenda losses at once, sindio? Kama company medunda, watu watadunda. Kama profits imeenda, but in this sect, yani wanakuambia we are trying to minimize the gap between the rich and the poor, to narrow the gap between the rich and the poor, but actually what they're doing is to widen that gap. Wanataka ku-eradicate middle class, because hii policy yao mpya inasema that in case of a loss, companies ndo ita watch out for their own interest. Sijika unaget. In the sense that watu wanajua kuna do ya kila mtu hapo and every citizen is allowed to invest, but what comes first is the policy ama the interest of the company. Meaning kama umeinvest in Safaricom shares na uko karibu kutoa your dividends at the end of the year, watasema we need to hold this money because sisi tuko na, and they are the ones who can do that.
That is not right.
Of course that's not right, because anything now, sasa any malicious thing inaweza toka kutoka hapo, because what if waseme wa make up their own stories about the company undergoing a loss na nini. So watakukula tu. So in simple, ukiangalia World Economic Forum and why these billionaires meet, they will meet for every reason. For vegetarian reason, how humans eat, for climate change, but kitu hawataiongelelea is the taxes. That's the funny thing. They won't talk about how you're going to tax the rich. It's all a distraction.
Definitely. And we all know that the rich have so much money that they need to be taxed. Ndio iweze kuprovide to the poor people, ndio si wote tukue at an equilibrium, but sidhani tutaifika that level. The rich will always be rich, the poor will remain being poor, as in that's like the reality. Hakuna mse ataenda tu akiti pahali aanze kuthink, okay, let's do good to humanity, vitu kaa hizo. It's always protecting your own interest first before everyone else. Na feel hii kitu imeanza kuwa deep.
Exactly.
But interesting. Hii conversation yote ili to flow that ilianza kwa scripting. Yeah, ndivyo ulikaenda tukafika kwa hizo vitu zote in the content space. Okay.
So even ndo vile conversation nakwambia tutaenda tu even way further. So speaking about mathematics, I hated maths, bro. I swear to God, I hated maths.
Why did you hate math? Is
I
it
guess
the numbers? Is this
no,
the graphs?
No. I guess now that I'm an adult, it was more about the teacher, attitude ya mwalimu. I hated them. Huo mwalimu alikuwa anaingia, bro, I felt like killing myself, bro. I swear to God. Nilikuwa nasikia kwanza that I remember even the footsteps. And until today, I can even tell you how this guy walked with hata ile pace yake.
That was trauma.
That's trauma, si uongo. And then anytime tu alikuwa nakuja, Nasir, homework yako iko wapi? Anytime tu. And then nilikuwa nampatia homework. There was a time, bro, I used to genuinely not understand. Raise my hand up. And I was a cheeky boy nikiwa chuo. Raise my hand up. Yo, I don't understand this. nasi ruba yako, you're distracting the class, nini na nini. Inaonekana as if I'm the one who's, you know those naughty kids, even if they're serious, I don't understand, inaonekana as if they're distracting the class.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I don't understand, I keep quiet. Sisemi kitu. Matrix says, Nasir, is everything okay? Perfect. But ikikuja 10%.
But okay, we will blame the teachers. So teachers wa mao pia wanafaa kuwa a bit friendly kidogo.
Not even friendly, wanafaa kutoa analogies that unaweza tap into a kid's mind. Like, I recently came to know about the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence and how it's related to nature. You know of the Fibonacci?
Yeah.
Hiyo kitu, it was so mind-boggling at first, and I was like, nah, fam. Nilienda nikaanza kusearch about Fibonacci sequence, and I was like, god damn. Hii place yote, like the whole universe is run by numbers. Ukiangalia even how the galaxy is, kila kitu. You know about the golden ratio vile inaenda hiyo spiral. It's
true.
in everything. The spiral is in the galaxies, how
hata human being tu wako. Yeah.
So I was like, if mwalimu wangu angenipeleka in this direction, anipatie analogies that relate to me and what I like, because kitu mi ushindwa ni, I'm a very curious person. Hata nikiamka when I'm in the morning, nikiangalia tu even the birds, nizaziangalia for hours and hours, because birds in the morning, birds after them, what do you call it?
Chirping.
Yeah, after them chirping, do you know they usually like brush their beaks? Every morning utaona ni kama zinapanguza beaks zao. It's like the equivalent of us brushing our teeth.
I've never looked at birds do their things, but anyway.
So I'm that type of guy. Ndaka tu hivi like 30 minutes niangalie, like na balcony, niko na kazi, but kitu kama hiyo itani distract. Ndaka tu hivi niangalie, and then in the evening, ama during the day, naanza kusearch why birds do that. Ama even inaitwaje, the ants. Unajua ants iko na whole hierarchy.
Yeah.
Even there's a way
soldiers.
Yeah. Even there's a way those soldiers there's this thing called a fungi infection. Ants ziko nazo, and once they get a fungi infection, zinaweza enda ipeleke fungi infection to the colony, and it affects everyone. The equivalent of COVID on our side. So what happens is the soldiers, those soldier ants, ziweza kudetect mtu. So zikiweza kudetect an ant iko na fungi, escort. So two soldiers inapeleka this one ant, they kill this one ant, and then both these soldiers commit suicide in a way that they hawataki
is spread kwa the entire colony. Okay. The world. do you usually believe that kuna hii theory inasemekananga we are not the only people in the universe, ama we are not the only people to exist, to have ever existed? I usually believe it's true, but I usually believe it in different forms. Like, sisi kama human beings, yes, maybe this is the first time we are existing, the civilized society, but maybe in the same universe, there's another society. Unaona hivyo ya ants. Like, for them, maybe they have their own tech, they have their own communication. Venye tu wana behave wako in their own universe, sisi tuko kwa hii yetu, na maybe they are bigger giants somewhere, we are just molecules in their body, kituka hiyo. I never thought of it like that. Okay,
I do believe it, and it's a belief. And belief is not something you know. Sindio? You cannot know what you believe, and you do not believe what you know.
Yeah, true.
So I'll tell you about, since I'm from a Muslim background, akwambia. So, and you have to know that mi niko na CRE background. Nilipelekwa boarding class 4, and every school I went to, I was the only Somali Muslim kid. Nilianza na Gashie Kiambu, so nimekaa na Wakikuyu sana. So CRE, and my dad used to tell me, you go to church. Nakwambia uende church, you go to church. Si tunaenda kuabudu any other god. You're going to read into a culture. It's different.
Yeah.
So the thing with the Christian version of how everything came is tunaona Adam and Eve. Ama Genesis even ndo inaanza God with the word came God, something like that. I don't want to quote it. God said, let there be light, let there be darkness, and then created everything in 6 days. So sisi before that process, there was another race of the jinn. So umesikia Waislamu wakisema kuna jini. There was that race of Lucifer now. Lucifer was a jinn, sisi kwetu. He was one of the righteous people, your time yao, but the world was corrupted. Now I'll give you, angels in Islam are made out of pure light. Jinns are made out of smokeless fire. and in that aspect ukiangalia the components ama the characteristics of fire zina shapeshift. Fire is almost like, when you look at fire you can say this is something that is angry. Same things, jinns are angry, they can shapeshift, they can move as fast as lightning, they can change matter into energy. Inaweza toa glass nifanye disappear in the place ingine. So that's what they were made of, ama that's their characteristics. So their world was corrupt, and Lucifer helped God destroy that world, of which he thought that atafanywa a king of this other world. So when Adam was created, he was created out of clay, right? So when Lucifer alikama ametoka raundi zake, amekuja akaona all the angels prostrating, to prostrate, ile kubow down before Adam. And he was commanded to do the same, and he was like, what creation is this? Akaingia ndani, and that's why humans can be possessed by jinns, because he went through Adam when he was lifeless, and akangale, and he was like, why am I being told to bow down before something that has been made out of clay? I've been made out of smokeless fire. So that was disobedience, direct disobedience. So wow, cut long story short, here akatumwa, and Eve Adam eating the apple happened, ndotko hapo. So that's one way you can look of it, that there was another,
umeenda the religious angle.
There's another way. Na bado I'm giving you this other side that haujaijua. Then there's this other way, vile unasema bado there's another civilization. So there's this other things Waislamu wanaijua kama Juj and Majuj, or Gog and Magog.
I think I've heard Gog and Magog.
Yeah, Gog and Magog. They are like alien creatures when you wametrapiwa mahali. They can't come out until the end of, almost hapo judgment day. Unajua vile wamedescribiwa, they are small people with heads shaped like shields and small eyes.
Head shaped like shield and small eyes. Okay, inanikalia
Aliens, in simple, how aliens tunaonekana kwa movies. See, they have like those big heads, smaller eyes. You understand where we're going?
And so small
so wao wako na civilization yao, of which inasemekana the day they will be released kwa earth watakuwa way more powerful than humans, because wao tech yao iko on another level, ama their military artillery iko on another level, after na ni wengi sana. It's just that wamewekwa mahali, wamefungiwa, no one can access them, na every day they're trying to come out of that place. So when the time is right, they will wata break through your wall na wakam. So apparently kuna other people, flat earthers, Muslim flat earthers, and I usually naona ule, if a Muslim na anasema ni Muslim and is devoted to his deen, akisema ni flat earther, and I'm like, then you don't read the Quran properly. The Quran clearly states, imekuambia the world is like an ostrich egg, because you see when the Quran was released, ama when it came down to the humans, ilikuwa inajaribu kukua a timeless thing. It had to relate to those people who hawakuwa na technology your time.
From the past now.
Right now tunajua the earth is not a complete circle. The sides bulge out just like an egg. Your design, it was descriptive in that nature. So do I believe there's another civilization before us? Yes, in that narrative. Again, believe. Unaona? So nikiangalia hizi vitu zote, I'm like, it makes sense. But what I strongly believe, I believe Africa, ilikuanga, there was a huge history that we cannot access, that ili destroy wa kitambo, and of which I believe Africa ndo ilikuanga nayo tech.
Yep. And hapo ndio nakujanga ku think about Egypt. Na hizo discoveries zote zenye zilipatikana huko, how they made the pyramids. Hadi wa leo haijajulikana. The talk of akina King Tut, Nefertiri, how they were mighty pharaohs and pharaohs, and it's when you think of it, mi nafikirianga ama thinking or believing there was a civilization that existed, maybe majorly tuchukue Egypt na hiyo writing zao kila kitu, then they became so powerful, they developed their tech, hizo vitu zote, then they just destroyed the world themselves. Unaona kasa hivi venye tuseme tu US na Russia wamua tu kuingia nuclear war ama hizo wars zao. Najua they can wipe out the entire world evil. So maybe something of the same happened. It wiped out everything ama everyone. Alafu maybe hapo ndio I'm assuming Adam na Eve walibaki as the remaining people na civilization maybe ikagrow kutoka hapo onwards. Now from them again, that is one line of thinking. Ingine inakuanga maybe other than civilization mada yenyewe through weapons, maybe just a catastrophic event. Let's say tu meteorite ilianguka from space ikakuja ika wipe out everything. Ukiona kuna kuangana a lot of I read somewhere or I saw TikTok saying biology is petrified geology, or geology is petrified biology, in a sense that kuna hii inaitangwa the eye of the Sahara. Sijui kama umeona hiyo stuff. When you literally zoom at it, it looks like an eye of something, literally macho ya kitu. So your theories who believe those people who existed then waliwipiwa out by that catastrophic event, na mwili zao ndio zinaonekana ka hiyo one, the eye of the Sahara. Kuna tu unapatanga ni milima but inakaa ni kaa kichwa ya mtu something. But yes, ukigonga nini, it's still a rock. It's geology, but it was biology before it became geology, kitu kayo.
Like in form of fossil.
Okay, sai najua tuna reading fossil, alafu fossil venye na form fuel and everything, but sai it's literally something petrified. I think I can show you. This thing is being posted audio, ama inaenda di video?
No, in video haina shida, go ahead. Okay. It's very unscripted.
Sawa. You utanipatia like a second.
Take your time.
Kitu wana watch. There's a guy on TikTok. I just follow him for entertainment. Nisikie tu easy my ideas, not that I believe in them, but just to expound the knowledge.
Next time tutakuwa na like a TV, ndo in case ka kuna reference Dante ataisearch tu hapa so that the viewers can see it. So you know, like the Joe Rogan type, vile wana searching exactly. So production tutaendelea tu as we go.
Search.
Weka volume.
Geology, if you needed further proof that we live on the remains of a much larger past, and that geology, it's nothing more than hardened biology. Let's take a look at where a trendy and popular ingredient you might have in your cabinet came from Himalayan salt. You tell me what these caves look like. Let's take a look at some of that salt, taken out of these mines and collected into a pile. Now, do those not look like slab to meat, or what? Here's a closer picture of one. How about now? If pork ribs are not your cut of choice, don't worry. There's many other cuts to choose from here. In the right conditions, after a great flood, like a vent, buried and covered in sediment, these petrified beings became the new mountains and hillsides of this realm. If you aren't convinced, let's do a few more side-by-sides. You got rock and meat. One of my favorites, you got bacon. And you got bacon rock. History is nothing more than a set of lies, accretable. And the same goes for most all of the academia. Truth is in the hillsides and in the mountains. Hadn't it plain sight? Question Eve. Writhing friends. Until next time. If you needed further proof.
Nice.
So kuna hizi zenye wanasemanga about like
that we live on the remains of a much
hizi wanasemanga that na bado sijuka the same video, I'm not sure, just watch that exact video, but wanasemanga unaona kaa hizi tu ukiona overlays, it looks like the face of something, it looks like someone sleeping. So wanasemanga these were once beings that existed then when that, let's assume a catastrophic event happened, either walizikwa. Okay, na just tunasemanga hiyo fossil carbon nini ndio ina create oil, but inasemanga wakakuwa petrified, like wakakaushwa tu venye iko. That's why unaona kitu inakaa shape ya mtu. That's why unasikia anasema hizo nyama yao ni salt literally, na pia ukionja nyama inakuwa chumvi ishi nawe kitu kaa hiyo, but of things that existed there in the past. Yeah, kuna those theories as well about pia formation of the earth, vitu mingi.
So wacha nikurudisha hapo nyuma kwa Egypt.
Yeah.
Tell me if we can connect dots hapo. Egyptians, okay, now let's just go back to the pyramids and let's look at how they might have finished that. So the earliest form of technology was the pulley and lever system.
Yeah, for irrigation na kuleta maji to
No, actually, no, pulley is to lift heavy things. Nakumbuka ukiwa class 4 make work things easier to put there's a pivot and then there's a stick, you can carry it.
But it's still the same that was used for no, it's not the same.
Yeah, nile ya pulley. So whoever came up with the pulley and lever system, or who is known for it, is Archimedes. You know Archimedes, right?
Yeah, from Archimedes.
Do you know? Do you know where he learned that from?
Mesopotamia? How many?
Egypt. Egyptians were the first ones, ama the first mathematicians wenye walikuja wakaanza kuleta hizo vitu.
Yeah, I've heard that theory.
Haya, now here's the other thing. Which race ama which culture is known for building pyramids? Except the Egyptians.
Okay, Egyptians hata naturally they are black people. Unless sahi venye wamekuwa with intermarriage na kila kitu.
I'm still doing my research on it, but watch out because unajua the thing is ukisikia kitu na kila mtu, me personally I believe they're Arabs, but again I'm open to it, nafanya research. However, pyramids zinajulikana kwa Wasudi because it used to kitambo walikuwa naitwa Kushites because they used to live in Kush. You see? Wow, ukiangalia hata South Sudan says they have the most pyramids. Even in around Africa, Uganda, wako na pyramids. So my theory is that since trade time walikuwa na travel kila place, that how watu walikuwa na the mathematics and the technology. But the know-how of building pyramids ilikuwa nani? Wasudi. And that's why in those writing, those hieroglyphics, you will see black people. Black tall people. So that's my analogy because the thing is ukiangalia every narrative of the pyramids, especially Atako Jorogan, they come up with this thing is alien type, it cannot be made, the technology, those bricks are heavy. But no, these things were built by Africans. Hawataki kusema hivyo. Anything that is African, it is alien. Anything that is European or anything, that is man-made.
Man-made, yeah, that is very true. But again, also when you think into their narrative, when wanasema ni alien, those rocks, the slab of rock, I've actually been to Egypt kwa hizo pyramids. Si jiwe yenye inatengenezanga nyumba. Unaona kaa hii floor moja ya a Kenyan home standard, that's the size of one rock. Alafu imagine hizo zimepailiwa on top of it. Jumi nilidhaningi tu ni something normal rock. Unaona piga picha hapo hivi kando ya one, bado hata hujafika the nini. So kwa like, watu walifikisha hata hiyo uko hivyo juu. So unashangaa how was that done?
And you know it took years.
Yeah, definitely. Those people had time.
And what sasa pali inanifascinate about that architecture in itself, that iko aligned na
true north na hizo stuff.
And I'm like, yo, how?
Perfect. Iko aligned na geometry tu ya dunia.
And they actually did that ndo izikwe graves za Pharaoh. Sindio? That's where they're buried.
Yeah. Initially, they were meant to be grave sites for pharaohs, and it was a status of their might and evil to their might. First of all, the Great Pyramids of Giza, the big one, I'm forgetting its name. It was built by one pharaoh. Ali building mingi akifail, then the final one akaamua to build the greatest and mightiest. So ndo building the big one that stands up to today. Alafu hizo zingine mbili ndogo zikatengenezwa na his sons kitu kayo. So but after time your culture kutengeneza pyramids. Okay, kwanza wacha niseme hivi, the Egyptian history, it's so widespread that kuna hii time ya kwanza ya pyramids, kuna hii time ya pili ya kina huyu pharaoh female anaitangwa juu Cleopatra. That's a different age of pharaoh. Juu hiyo time yao wao wako na building pyramids. Na then kuna hii time yenye sasa ndio hii mambo ya Egyptian pharaohs ziende kikufa. So hii time pyramids zilikuwa zina buildiwa according to them ni mwanzo huku ya hiyo kingdom yao. Juu kulikuwa na two Egypts actually, the upper Egypt na lower Egypt. Then they fought and became one Egypt at once. then now to show their might and everything ndo akaanzanga kubuild hizo pyramids, but it came to a point wako like we can't build anymore. Unaona between that the greatest pyramid right now, the smaller one, alafu ndio the third ka smaller one, the king was like he didn't even have enough time to build a mighty pyramid. Jol kwa memboa you're going to die sijui I don't know in the next how many years kitu kayo. So yakatengenezanga ka pyramid kadogo ndo azikwe hapo. By the time another king was coming, sijui there was conflict in the family. There was conflict in the family. It didn't go to the firstborn son. Sijui the wife, unajua walikuwa na so many wives, akakujanga akaua the firstborn nini, so kingship ikaenda kwa another son but bado tu in the lineage. So your son hakuwa na easy interest za kubuild pyramids kitu kayo, so he never built a pyramid. Son wake time alikuja akasema instead of us building nini to respect our forefathers, let's look for a place where we'll be burying kings. That's why akatafuta the king of the valleys ama the valley of the kings, the valley of the kings. So akaanzanga kuzikwa uko sasa. So akaacha kubuild pyramid, wakaacha hiyo culture ya pyramids, wakaanza sasa kuzikana kwa hiyo the valley of the kings kitu kayo. It's a whole story. Egyptian name. Then as venye ikiendanga burial sites ni kapia zikajaa, pharaohs pia wamekuwa wengi, ndio modernization hizi vitu zote zikakuja, kingship tu ikaenda tu ikidai na ikaenda ikikufa yenyewe. They watch a lot of those Egypt things.